Good morning. Let's see here. Set up chat for you guys. Just got done doing a bunch of stuff. I've been working going on 3 hours now. But I'm not doing any actual sharpening. I got a little bit ambitious yesterday. Hang on a second. Well, Nathaniel, Justin, good morning. Yeah, I got really into doing stuff yesterday, and I have absolutely nothing to do today. I have a package that's showing up today, and I'm just finishing up some. I've just basically been finishing up getting stuff ready for shipping. Hang on a second, I'll show you. So I got myself into the groove yesterday and did a bunch of sharpening. I had planned on working at least to like 1 or 2 today, and then I had stuff I was going to do to get ready for tomorrow's Isabel's ice skating competition. There's more than one knife in every one of these boxes. And I still have to pack that. And there's a bunch of stuff underneath in a box underneath that blanket that is going to get packed up today that's already done. I did a lot. Like, I didn't realize it. My wife came home. The sun was starting to go down. My wife got home from the kids ice skating, and I was like, holy crap, what time is it? It was late. I had more work to do than I thought I did. And I got more of it done than I thought I was going to. So I like days like that. I love days like that where I get into it and I just start watching a movie, and next thing I know, there's just completed finished knives everywhere. The only things that I have left to do are stuff that I can't really do today. It's stuff that would take. I'm not going to start anything today that's not going to get finished today. The stuff that's in that box that has to get done is going to take a Friday night and probably a Saturday. And here's the thing, like, I got to go today. What's up, Jason? How's life in Oregon? Is it cold up there in Portland? But no, what was I saying? That stuff's going to take a couple days. There's a lot of disassembly, and one of the things that is a thing that a lot of people don't think of, if I'm refinishing multiple knives for a customer, if 2 of them are the same knife, I can't do those at the same time. Those have to be done separate. Because even though, like, okay, say I was doing a CTF, a Mastrop CTF, like I did mine, I blasted it. If the guy sent me 2 of them, he wanted them to be different. I couldn't do one at the same time as the other, because even though these are mass-produced knives, there's still a little bit of variance between each one. So the lockup and things like that, if you took, it's like taking a bolt. My gun guys that are out here will if I can hear me out on this. When you put a new component in a gun that has been shot, you immediately go back to break-in. It's like when you get your car from the dealership and you have the run-in, same thing. So those matched wear, if you refinish a knife and get components from one knife onto the other, there's a good chance it's gonna have some weirdness to it. And it's as good as the QA on production knives are these days, that's still something that you could run into. So I can't even take that risk, because you might not know what part you put in that's wrong. I went back and resharpened this because I was getting ready to pack it up yesterday, and I was like, wow, it's got a weird spot on it. And so I don't know how I didn't catch it before. There was a spot here where there was some like microchipping. What I think it was I think it felt like microchipping, but you know what it could have been? It could have just simply been a little spot where there was a tiny amount of the old apex from the factory edge right there that I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And so who knows which it was. Man, this thing got sick sharp. action on these is nice. Detent's not real stiff, but it's got a good action. That gives it that really smooth closure. And it wanted to be these colors. Yeah, right? It's just like, we had talked about doing blue and all that, and then I hit this color and I was like, and let me tell you why I say it wanted to be this color. This is not the color I was shooting for. I was shooting for this color. And when I got into the range where I normally would get that color, I got this, and I pulled it out and I wiped it off and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. So, love this knife. I really, really like this. I wish, maybe when I start making some money, it will be one of my first purchases. I wish I had one of these. I'm going to probably eventually pick one of these up when I start making enough money to not worry about how we're gonna pay the mortgage. This week is actually, this last couple weeks has actually been really good, but it doesn't make up for the 6 before it. It has that pearlescent weirdness where at different angles, it looks different. And then there was this that just, it needed black. It needed a black blade. The bob knife needed a black blade. Can't get my thumb under there this morning for some reason. I really do like this knife. I forget. Kyler Cheney. There's a lot of new people on a channel. Like, people log into live feed and I don't recognize their usernames. I know a lot of people have changed their usernames. Like Chris changed his to the Bronx, Brooklyn something, I don't remember. But I recognize it when it comes up, so. Only 8 people though. I honestly woke up this morning thinking it was Thursday. So, yeah, I'm not going to the shop tonight. I am going to go to Matt's tonight. I don't see the sense in driving up to the shop and being up there. There's not going to be anybody there. So it's not a Ferrum Friday. So you guys that don't know, Ferrum Friday, we do that every other Friday. Elliot has his daughters 2 Fridays a month. And so Wednesdays, he's always got his daughters. And every other Friday, he has his daughters. So there is no Friday hangout party, like goof around and do stuff like you see at the Forge. So Ferrum Friday started, I don't know how long ago it started. What's up, Lionel? I don't know how long it started, but it's been going on ever since I've been up there. And there used to be a brewery across the street. And what we would do is we'd hang out on Friday. We'd all bullshit. We'd get our knives out. We'd do like a knife show. We'd goof around. People would come up and just hang out. And then we would adjourn across the street to the brewery and drink some beer. And then, you know, like 10 o'clock or so, everybody'd start heading their separate ways. It was like Friday with the guys, which is a lot of us don't have that now that we're married, and especially us military guys that like all of our friends have transferred, and the guys that I grew up with are back home. And I just realized that last year was my 25th class reunion, or was it the year before? I don't remember. It was either last year or the year before. So that means that it's been 25 or 26 years since I left and joined the military. So we have, you know, I was talking to some of those guys, but I don't have a lot of, I didn't at the time have a lot of friends here in San Diego because like I got out of the military, I worked on the base and I knew people on the base, but those people change every 3 years. All the military guys that I knew, all the friends that I had, I don't think that there's anyone still in San Diego that I was in the military with that's still here. And so I was like, you know what? I made friends with the guys at the Forge, and then I started making friends with guys that hang out at the Forge. So I was friends with Chris and Elliot, and then I started making friends with Nico, and then Matt, and a bunch of other people, and Dr. Vinny, and other people that show up there, and our friend Brian. So it wound up that now I have a group of friends that I can hang out with on Fridays. So with Elliot being gone, and Chris usually doesn't hang out at the shop. He has poker and stuff like that, and Chris is, I love Chris, but he is an old man in a young man's body. Friday night he goes home and he goes to play poker, and then he's in bed by like 10, pretty much on Fridays. And I was like, well, if Elliot's not there, Chris is only be there till 5, and you know, it winds up. Where is your project with we? Good news. So I did talk to them. They are going to send me 2 of the actual production samples. They are starting to go into production, but they said it usually takes about 6 months. So we're looking at about 6 months out. I'm going to start greasing skids with people that I know and people that Elliot knows. I'm going to call in a couple favors, ask Elliot a couple favors. I don't actually owe Elliot any favors. If anything, or Elliot doesn't owe me any favors. If anything, I owe Elliot a lot. I mean, and I do mean a lot. Business advice, just general friendship, questions about things, helping me out with getting things to market, rendering things for me, doing the basic outline for WaterJet, just, you know, all those things that he doesn't have to do. So I'm gonna have to ask him another favor, because I want to get in touch with the folks at Blade HQ and Knife Center, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I have a subscriber that works at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. He's going to try and grease the skids there. I need to call Alex. I do have his phone number somewhere. But so I had a guy that asked me this morning in an email. Hopefully he's watching. I just sent him a response. He sent me a video of some guy, and the guy's got like 19,000 subscribers. S35VN is a better choice for users and you cost. I don't pay anything for that. They're doing it in 20 CV, which is what mine were made in. I have nothing to do with any of the manufacturing cost. I licensed them a design. They pay the marketing. They pay the manufacturing. They do all that. They keep the lion's share of the money. I get a portion of it. I just wanted a way to get these knives out in the world and see if they became popular. And if they do, then it might be something that continues. So I don't know how big the run is going to be. I would say, with it being me being a relatively unknown maker, there might not be many. And if you guys, as my subscribers, want them, keep your eyes open for the drop. It's not going to be a mass drop thing. When I say when they drop on the market. So when they hit the market, when they start places like Blade HQ and stuff like that, I don't know how many there's going to be. I'm not saying they're going to sell out quick. I'm just saying that if you want one, there might not be that many made. You know, they have to think about, no one knows this guy, right? And they have to think about things like that. So I talked to Mattia Barani yesterday via DM for a little bit. I sent him a video of my daughter's ice skating practice that she did. Didn't put it up here, but there will definitely be a video of tomorrow and Saturday's competition. She has 2 different competitions, 2 different routines. So it's like, where is that light coming from? And it's just, I guess it's just the sun hitting, because there is no light on over there. So it's getting warm in here. Hang on a second, guys. And before you say anything, yes, I am wearing the same clothes I had on yesterday, because I have not taken my morning shower yet. I just got up and got busy doing stuff, so this isn't going to be that long of a feed. I want to take a quick shower now that I'm up. I take a shower in the morning. Usually when you see me, I'm either right before or right after my shower. Yesterday it was right after, shortly after. So what's everybody got planned for the weekend? Because I know I'm going to an ice skating competition all weekend. But back to what I was saying, Lionel, I don't dislike S35VN. I just think that for that type of knife, I think that 20 CV is a better choice. I think it's going to hold an edge better. I think it's going to deal with impacts and stuff like that. I've been testing the S35, and that's where I was going to go with this. I've tested and used the S35VN versions of them, and the edge is not selling and sharpening knives at a gun show in Pittsburgh. For me, a good EDC knife is... I think that knife I made, the knife I designed, kind of hits those wickets. Ooh, a boar hunt. Where are you going? Phil, where are you going for a boar hunt? Because I know they're a problem back home. Actually, right now, the problem back home on the farm is coyotes. Coyotes are just, they're worse in Ohio now than they are here in San Diego. Paso Robles. I think I know where that's at. It's up north, right? Central Valley area. Is it NorCal or is it Central Valley? I thought it was up near Central Valley. I think I've been up there, through there, driving up to the racetrack in Fresno and Tulare. There's a couple racetracks up there. Yeah, they're getting bad. Yeah. Then it was. I was on my way up that way, and I think we saw signs for exits for Paso Robles. Yeah, the coyotes are so bad, and my dad died, so that farm we sold a bunch of it. Just my mom is selling it right now. I can't remember how much. I think it's like 30. I think she's selling 33 acres or something like that. Yeah, we do too in Ohio. My friend Rusty does it. But the thing is, so with my dad having passed, he doesn't go out. My dad would just go out on a four-wheeler and just hunt coyotes on his day off, and just fucking bag as many as he could, just drag them back and toss them along the fucking the bottom below the house, and then he'd cover them up with quicklime and shit like that. We don't have that anymore. My buddy Rusty Bluck does that. Rusty Bluck back home in Ohio, he does that a lot. He goes out coyote. My dad would just hunt anything. So the thing you got to be careful with, if you're killing coyotes, you got to do something with the body, because coyotes will scavenge, and the next thing you know, you're providing food for the exact animal the nuisance animal you're trying to get off your property. When I went home, it was crossbow. It was bow season, and this shoulder won't let me draw a bow anymore. So I got the crossbow out, and I went to go deer hunting, and I would go out early in the morning, like just right at the crack of dawn, just before that. And I would go get all set up so that I could try and get that first light. And I didn't see a fucking thing. And I came back after like 2 days, and my dad was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Going deer hunting early in the morning, just like he always." He's like, "Boy, here's the deal. We got so many coyotes." He's like, "There's two things. They've run the coyote. The coyotes have run most of the deer off. And the other one is that any deer that are left, they were doing the pipeline through Ohio for all the fracking and shit." And he goes, "That pipeline that they run through, all that work has run them out. They're all completely nocturnal. It doesn't even make sense to try and hunt it during the morning or the evening. You need to go out at night." And I was like, "I'm not fucking bow hunting at night. It's fucking 8 degrees in the daytime." I was like, "Fuck that." Because this was right around Christmas, New Year's time frame. We got there, it was 60 degrees the day we got there. And it rained, and my daughter was out playing in puddles and shit. And I was like, what in the actual fuck? It's not even... The next day we woke up, and it went from 60 to 30. That night it started snowing, and it kept snowing for pretty much the whole time we were there. And we were worried about whether we were going to be able to get out and everything. And I was like, it's Ohio. People are used to this. It's not like this is happening in like fucking Las Vegas, where, you know, oh my God, it snowed. Nothing happens. Or Southern California. So we did a lot of playing in the snow and shit, but it was fucking cold. And I was like, I did a bunch of squirrel hunting. It was still squirrel season. It was cold, but there was still some squirrels out. fucking filled the deep freeze in the. Was it squirrel season, or was that the time I went home before? I don't remember. I can't remember when squirrel season ends. One of the times I went home, I got a ton of squirrels, and I filled up that fucking basement deep freeze with squirrels. It was the time before that. It was the time before that, because I remember I was also hunting. I was also hunting ground squirrels in the garden and shit like that with a pellet gun. That might have been spring. I don't remember. I don't even fucking. You know what? It's been so long since I've been home and been into the hunting and stuff like that, like actually hunting, that I can't remember where the seasons begin and end. Let's see who. But yeah, coyotes are bad. We had a coyote actually here. There was a coyote over near our pool. One of the ladies stopped me and the wife while we were taking out trash cans and had the dog out. The wife was getting the dog to pee while I was putting a trash can out. I think it was last week. And she came up to us and told us that they'd seen a coyote right off the main road here at our pool. That somebody had seen a coyote mingling about over there, probably looking for a fucking Pomeranian to eat. That happens a lot. That happens a lot out here. Fucking, it ate my Pomeranian. Why didn't you get a dog that could defend itself? That's not a dog, that's a fluffy fucking rat. Let's see. I don't think there's gonna be. Yeah. Oh, I've seen a good bit of coyotes. They definitely looked. I'll tell you what I saw. So you guys know what I sharpen out. The door that leads out of my kitchen is right here, and that's where I sharpen. Well, before I had the workbench and stuff here a few years ago, I was still working for the government. I woke up on a Saturday. I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I poured myself a pot of coffee, or made myself a pot of coffee, and I sat down in my little lounge chair that I had in the yard at the time. And I was leaned back, and I was just drinking my coffee and listening to the radio on my phone. I was listening to iHeartRadio. And all of a sudden, I caught a whiff of something. I was like, and it was that, you know, that big animal, dirty, unbathed smell that bears and big cats and stuff have. They have that weird, like, musky, greasy, oily smell. Well, I caught a whiff of it. I was like, oh, and immediately all the shit growing up on a farm where there's a chance of black bears and shit like that. We have bobcats. All that just popped in my head. I was like, oh, that's an animal. That's a big animal. And the dog was inside. And I couldn't figure out and I look up. So where I'm sitting, you look up and there's a hill and there's a fence where I can see above my fence up the hill, the houses that are up the hill, and there's a sidewalk. And I'm looking, and my eyes, I turned my phone off, and I turned the porch light off, and I got to looking, and the biggest fucking coyote I'd ever seen was just sitting at the top of the hill, just looking at me. Just looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I was like, everything be okay. You just stay where the fuck you're at. And then I saw him leave, and I was like, I came in the house, grabbed my pistol, and I sat back down in my chair, and I was just sitting in my, it was kind of chilly that morning. I was just sitting out there drinking coffee. I was like, if that motherfucker decides he's gonna come down, he can get over that fence. It's only like a fucking 6-foot fence. He can jump it. My dog can damn near jump it. And she's lazy and old. Not old, just lazy. But yeah, that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Called my dad that morning and told him about it. So I know it's been at least 3 years. Man, I really do like this. Guys, I can't tell you how, like, the Bob T CTF that they made for Mastrop, Elliot helped with the render on this and stuff like that. These came out exceptionally well. Bob does everything by hand. That's why Elliot helped. So, man, these came out really well. These look like, if you're watching his 75 for 75, if he's making 75 of the ATF, I've seen the ATFs. I think this is, for me, more what I would want. But his knives are gorgeous. I've got to get up to his shop. he's 75 years old. I got to get up there and at least see him and do some spend some. I love Bob. It's just that like it's hard to pin him down. I guarantee he's getting ready for Blade. And I don't want to videotape because we talked about it before, and he said that my channel doesn't. Actually, I don't think it was Bob. I think it was whoever does his social media for him. Said that, you know, hey, I appreciate you. You're welcome to come to the shop, but you know, your YouTube channel is not as refined as what we'd like. We wanted to see something more like what. And then he sent me a link to the one that Massdrop, the video Massdrop did. And I was like, I can't do that. That's they have professional videographers and stuff do that. I can't do that. My channel will never be like that. My channel's always going to be like this. It's shot on an iPhone and published on an iPhone, edited on an iPhone. The music for it's done on an iPhone. Everything on it is done on an iPhone. The only thing is I have to go in and I have to edit the. I try to take out. I try to take out ads that I think are going to be obnoxious and things like that because I can pick and choose what type of ads. I can't pick what ads, but like I don't like non-skippable ads. So I try not to put non-skippable ads in my videos, but for some reason it just doesn't seem to work. YouTube just goes back and throws them in. So like for the first few days, there's no non-skippable ads. And then you go back and videos that there's like a 5-minute non-skippable ad. But I'll tell you a secret. If you're watching it on your phone, close out of it and click right back on it. And a lot of times it will register you as having seen that ad. That does take away from my ad revenue, but I also know that I don't want you guys being stuck watching a fucking 15-minute goddamn non-skippable ad. You know what I mean? I don't lose much ad revenue. I don't get much ad revenue to begin with. Why would I need to worry about how much I lose? But like they say, every cent counts. Well, guys, it's been about 30 minutes. I actually want to get the rest of this. Do you? Did you get bombarded with? Hey, do you guys see ads in the live feed? I'm just curious. Like if you if you're watching it while I'm live streaming, do you see ads in these? Yakov. Okay, so I've had. Okay, so it doesn't. All right, good. No, not live feeds to posted videos. Okay, cool. So if you go back and watch it, yeah, and that's what I want. I don't want this to get ads while we're watching it, but well, the ads are. I mean, the ads are a necessary evil to monetize the channel because that's. I mean. As a matter of fact, I believe that ad revenue and Patreon bought this. If I remember correctly, I bought this with Patreon and ad revenue for use on the channel with the intent that I thought I wasn't gonna like it. I'm like, I'll get it, and then I'll flip it. I'll turn it. I'll do the black ceramic on the blade. I'll distress the pocket clip a little more than it was, and then I'll sell it. Yeah, that didn't happen. I get what you mean, but yeah, I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with the ADV after I finish. Well, you know what? I thought about it. I could go up and work on that, but the fact is, if I go up today and start working, I'm not going to get all that much done. I don't have, like I said, I don't have anything I can finish in a day for customers. So, condom ads. Guys, we're gonna go over here and sit at the table. I'll take any ads they want to put in my videos. I just don't like the non-skippable ones. I don't like the idea that I'm forced to. If you guys choose to watch the whole ad, that's fine. I think you get a little bit more ad revenue when people watch the entire video or the entire ad, but I don't think it's that much. That doesn't need to be on. I want to murder my wife and kids sometimes. It's just fucking, and I'm figuratively. There's a lot of freaking windows in this house. And I come in and it's, yeah, salt water is not great. I haven't watched the video yet. I know he was talking about doing beer. I know he talked about doing Gatorade. He talked about a bunch of different stuff that he was going to do. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is this house has got windows everywhere. And all you have to do is open the blinds on maybe one. Here, I'll show you. So I'll come into the living room at fucking this time in the morning and it's not dark, right? The living room's not dark. It's messy, but it's not dark because my wife and daughter were running late for school this morning. So a lot of her getting ready for school stuff. But like this window here lights the room up. It's not even dark in here, but if we, look at that. But I'll come in and the lights are on. But I'm like, really? You guys know that we're having a hard time financially. The business hasn't taken off. We're struggling. And I'll come and I'm guilty too. There's times that I'll leave and I'll leave the bathroom light on or something like that. But there will be no one in the living room. And both of those lights are on. No one in the house, and I come back and the ceiling fan's still on. I'm like, why? Why? There's only a couple ceiling fans that I leave on. I do leave my daughter's, when I'm home, I leave my daughter's bedroom window open so that the air changes out because it gets hot up there. So if I can get it as cool as I can in the morning, there's a good chance. And then come about, you know, when it starts to warm up in the living room, I'll close her window and keep the fan on. But, man. But my wife yells at me for leaving cupboards open. I'm like, that doesn't waste electricity. So I was up until about, I want to say I was up until about 1 this morning. I was reading about, the actual chemical reaction that happens. You guys are gonna laugh about this. So I was just curious. I had some beer here at the house that had not been cooled off. You know, I had a 12-pack or a 30-pack Coors Light here. I wanted a cold beer. None of them were cold yet. I just threw them in. They'd been here for like 3 days. I hadn't even put any of them in the refrigerator yet. And so I was like, well, I want one now. And then I was like, oh yeah, salt on ice. And I told him I tried to do that. And I told him I wanted him to try that. And he said he didn't think he wanted to. I don't know if he's going to or not. So anyway, so I put a bunch of ice in one of the bake pans, in the bake dishes, the glass, bread pan. And then I put a whole bunch of ice, and then I put a whole bunch of salt. And I was like, it gets cold, right? It gets colder. And I was like, well, there has to be some sort of endothermic reaction going on. So I sat up last night and was just reading, and I started reading that one, and then I got to go. So the whole thing is there's a misconception that the salt just melts the ice. And it's not. It's a complex chemical reactions where the chlorine ions rip loose, and that chemical reaction is endothermic, but it also drops the freezing temperature of the water. So it's doing two things. It is chemically converting the ice back to water, and it's stealing energy from the water, and it basically, you can do an endothermic reaction where the chemicals inside the beaker get cold, which is, it's one of those weird reactions. Usually they're exothermic where they put off heat, but this time they absorb energy and get cold. And so that's why you can watch the temperature drop in salt water with ice, or ice with salt in it. That's how an ice cream maker works. And I was reading it, and then I was reading it, and I was like, oh, well, hang on a second. Yeah. And so I was like, well, hang on a second. There's the chemicals that they use for the ice melt is calcium chloride. And I was like, well, calcium chloride has a lot more of the chlorine ions. There's a lot more chlorine in calcium chloride than there is in sodium chloride, which is table salt. And so therefore it's a very, very vigorous reaction with the water and with the ice. And so it strips more, it absorbs more energy from the ice, and therefore turns it back into a salt water-ish. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And the next thing I know, it's like 1 o'clock, and I was like, fuck. Damn it. I'm trying to, I'm going to talk to Matt today. I'm going to see if we can't get 2 of them. I would love to get Chris a aquarium pump, an air pump with a bubble stone on it for the anode tank, because the thing is, the electrolyte solution, what it is doing is there's a chemical reaction that happens there via the electricity, and it imparts an oxygen molecule, an O2, to the titanium to make an oxide. The oxygen turns into an oxide layer. So the more oxygen you have in your solution, the better. So I was curious about the beer, because I was thinking about it, because beer doesn't have very much oxygen in it. It has carbon dioxide in it. So I was going to watch the video, but I was thinking that when he said he was going to do beer, and I was like, and I saw the video notification that he was going to anodize in beer for the video. I'll probably watch that while I'm packing. I have 2 more knives to pack up. Oh, guys, do you remember that 601 that I was going to sharpen, and then the video went down? I don't know what happened with that. I apologize. I started a live feed for sharpening a WE 601, which is it's not a normal typical knife to sharpen. It doesn't have the typical lines of most knives. And I don't know what happened to it, but I went back through and I looked, and there's several of my videos that are missing. There's a video I did about a peccary, which is a knife that God, I can't think of his name now. BMH knives in Arizona. Help me out, BMH. What's I can't remember his first name off the top of my fucking head for some reason. At any rate, I did a video about a peccary that he had made that was at the shop, and I told Nathan I want to do a video about it. Can't find that video. There's a video I did about reloading revolvers, like how to you know, use a speed loader. I did a video talking about the differences between revolvers and semi-autos, but then I did a quick reload video, like how to use a speed loader, a revolver speed loader. I used my 45 Magnum for that, because the other gun that I have, I don't have speed loaders for it. My other revolver is a 38 it's a 5-round 38 that never gets, it's not even, I don't think it's even loaded. As a matter of fact, because I don't trust it, because it's gotten to a point where it's not, I need to get it to my friend and take a look at it. It doesn't always, the trigger does not always engage when you pull the trigger. The cylinder doesn't go, the hammer doesn't go. It just like, it starts to catch and then it slips off. And I was like, yeah, I can't trust that gun. So therefore it's been unloaded and stuck way back in the back behind the other pistols. So I used my 44, but that video is gone. I don't know. Do you guys remember that video? Any of you guys remember watching that video? Just like how to use a speed loader? No answer. I didn't feed the dog yet. Hang on a second, guys. Kai, you want to eat? Huh. Hey, let's go eat. Hey. Hey. Come here. Sit. Sit. Do you want to eat? You want to eat? Say it. Say it. You gotta say it. Go. Do you want to eat? Say it. Okay, don't eat them. Say it. Speak. Are you being stubborn today? Do you want to eat? Say it. Come on, say it. Say it. Do you want to eat? Say it. Speak. Oh, there you go. Say it. Say it one more time. One more. Come on. Say it. Speak. I don't know what's going on with her. Go eat. Usually she's all about that. I woke her up to feed her. I think that's part of it. She's going with us to the ice rink. Blake, that's his name. Blake. Blake Hernandez. I knew his last name. I just couldn't think of his first name. And I like Blake. He's a good guy, but Jesus Christ, he's a goofball. He is. He's fun to talk to. He is such a fun guy. Did you guys remember we talked at Portland at Blade West? Man, I had a good time there. Oh man, I wish I could go to Blade. There's just no way. There's just no way. There's no lodging, no transportation. The closest place I saw online to the venue was like 35 minutes, and you figure that doesn't sound like a lot, 35 minutes, but either we rent a car or we take a Lyft or Uber everywhere we go, and that even when we're in Portland, which wasn't that far, that got pricey. So it's still cheaper than taking a taxi, but I think that this year it's just not. I don't think it's a good idea to try and go. So I need to call Aaron Frederick. I haven't talked to him since my daughter's last competition. I text him occasionally, but I like that guy. He's just fucking busy, just like me, fucking busy. So Gen 2, what one of his Gen 2 Sonoran? Are you talking about Aaron Frederick? Oh, Blake. His knives, I mean, his knives aren't great. They're nothing special, but the thing is, he makes a lot of them and he sells them, a lot of them. I need to talk to him. He's not that far away that we couldn't work out something where he adds the additional cost for sharp because he complains about sharpening a zero grind on his knives. So I will, that's, you know what, that's what I ought to do. I ought to reach out to Blake and talk to him sometime today. Today might be, because like I said, I'm done sharpening. I got one knife to pack up. I don't dislike chisel grind. If a chisel grind is done well, it's an amazing edge because it's easy to maintain. It winds up being a chisel zero on mine. I'll tell you whose knives that I have seen that. God, I wish. Guys, you guys are ready. You already know who I'm gonna talk about, right? I've gotten a few of the CM knives, Continue Mission, Big Kitties knives, and he did his chisel grinds were great. I've gotten a couple of his handmade knives. His handmade knives that he made, I've gotten some knives he modified for people. And like him or not, because he was one of those controversial people, his work was good. It really was. They were sharp. I got one in SM100 that had the weird tip that where the edges are opposite chisel and they come up to a point. No, he did. Matt did V grinds. I've seen a couple of his V grinds. He and I talked about it. I was supposed to go up and spend a weekend up there, and we had talked about it. And every time it got ready to happen, something would come up, and I just couldn't go, or something would come up, and he's like, "Bro, I can't this weekend." It's a fucking power's out, or I've got to move stuff around. We can't do it this weekend. And I was like, "Fuck." And then he passed, and I was like, "Shit." So I really liked Matt. I talked to Matt a lot. So you talked about certain knives being asymmetrical ground at the Ricasso. Yes, I did. On no O. I do hate that. I do hate that if it's a V grind and it's ground asymmetrical. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I I've gotten to be a little bit less critical of it because I realized how hard it is if it's a custom freehand ground knife. If it's a computer ground, machine ground knife like Cold Steel or Spyderco or any of, there's no reason for that primary bevel, for that primary grind, for this part right here to be asymmetrical. No reason for that. See snake knife I was talking about yesterday. That's that little Warncliffe knife that I made for Matthew. It's there's a lot of people that have showed some interest in that. It's a small little knife. It's a nice little Warney blade, but it's a lot smaller than your typical knife. It's basically, if you guys remember that knife I made for my daughter, that little drop point, almost like bird and trout knife. It's the same knife basically, but with the edge flipped. So the round is on the back and the edge. I was like, oh, I mean, the handle's great and everything. I just basically used the handle on that as a template because I like it. It's nice and comfortable for a small knife. And I was like, okay, cool. And I made one of the scorpions for Jeremy Morris, and it came out great, but it just didn't speak to me the way that the Hornet did. And so I was like, okay. Or not, it didn't speak to me the way that the sea snake did with the Warney. And so when I made Matt's, I was like, oh, that's it. That's the one. That's the one I want to put my maker's mark on. And when I say that, I mean that's the one that I want released with my MJE design on one side and a crazy sharp logo on the other. I want to get it OEM'd, and I want it to come out. I want it to come out and go out completely under my brand. And so that's Yakov and I are working on trying to make that happen. So, Yakov, I did send an email to them last night. I found out that I am getting 2 of the actual production run knives as a sample to see how they came out, thicker handles and all that. I mean, basically, it's a done deal. So I'll see those when they're done. So, is anything else going on? No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is the first Friday in a while where I didn't feel like I was jumping through my ass to get stuff done. I have 2 more packages to pack up. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna let you guys go here in a second. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. My work for the week is done. I have a knife that came in that I am probably gonna work on. I told you it's gonna be G10. We decided G10 handles for grip. Now, I am not opposed to, when they come out, to making handles out of other materials. Blade material, 20 CV. They don't have any, they did a run of knives, they did Elliott's knives in M390, but the problem is, for this knife, 20 CV was easier to get. I don't know if you guys know this. So, Böhler Udelholm is in Austria, and they had a big fire at their factory like last year. And so their production has been limited. So the Malice, the Wee Malice, is in M390. The, what was I getting ready to say? The Archbishop 2.0, Elliott's Pro line, or Pro Series, or whatever the fuck it is. We'll talk about that sometime. I believe it's the Pro Series now. So that wound up, that was an M390, the Archie 2.0. But when I talked to them, they're like, we don't have anymore. What we do have is 20 CV. And I was like, well, it's just, fundamentally, it's the same fucking steel. So I want to talk to Elliot. I would like to find out the heat treat what temperature heat treat Reate uses on their M390. It's not near as hard for the customer to sharpen. It's going to be the same heat. I mean, we and Reate use the same heat treat because I think they use the same heat treat facility. So, I mean, those guys all know each other. They're all good friends. So what I would like to see is I would like to make a couple, like if I could offer two different heat treats. If you know that you're going to be able to maintain that knife at 20 CV at 64, maximum wire resistance, maximum impact resistance, then yeah, if I make you a knife in that steel, then that's the heat treat I'm going to use. If you're just the average guy that's like, no, I'm probably not going to be able to maintain that, things like that, I'd be able to offer a heat treat that's a little bit easier to maintain, but you don't lose much. You really don't. My React, I think I've only ever sharpened that thing 3 times in all the time that I've owned it. It did have a chip in it recently, and it was just a touch up. But I mean, to sharpen it just because it's gotten dull, maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years. So I just thought that that would be an option for some of the knives I make. But here's the other thing too. I don't know how many knives I'm going to continue to make. I've got to talk to James about getting the money for the belts. I have 2 more Hornets to make. They're not hex bolted. They are Torx. Hang on a second. I'll go get one of them. I'll go. Basically, let me go get one of the prototypes real quick. I think there's one over here. The prototype basically is the same. It's just going to have different thickness on the handles, and it's going to have a different material handle. But everything else is going to be the same. Hang on. It's not there. It's not there. Well, hang on. I know where it's at. It's sitting on the love seat in my bedroom. Finded it. So, oh, guys, soft loops will fit these. The problem we're going to have is if I make handles, we'll have to get another that we uses. They're nice and flat. The handles on these are going to be 1 millimeter more on each side, so probably 2 millimeters in total. You guys saw the video. I don't measure good. So that's going to be the attachment. This is what I used, and if you look, it's the same as the pivot screw. These are the same fucking pivot screws that I used as hardware for the handmade version. So I will tell you that this one is significantly thicker at the tip than the production model, but there was really it was really hard to translate that. I like the tip on these to be thicker. Like I said before, that leaves you, well, here, you can see, I'll show you the difference. That gives you a very robust tip. So you can see where my edge angle widens because that material is a little thicker. I just did basically, I left it thicker, and then I copied the WE 601 edge bevel where it's the same angle, but it thickens and it maintains that same edge. But, was that up? Oh, that was that. I was like, is that a shiny spot on the edge where I got the knife up against something? So I'm packing this up. This is out because I got to pack it up for Charles and ship it. But these are significantly thicker at the tip than the WE version. And I mean, it's just, it's not a horrendous amount of difference. But these are, hang on, these are thinner at the tip. And you can feel it. You can definitely feel that it's significantly thinner. But I don't think, in this production version, I don't think that's going to make that big of a deal. When I started, wrong sheath. When I started making these, the guys that I was making these for, I knew what they were going to do. This is so if they pry open a Humvee door, it doesn't come back to me with that much of the knife fucking missing, and I have to figure out how to reshape this blade and make it work for them. So if I was going to make handles for one of the production models, we'd probably also have to just get a new sheath made, because it's probably not going to fit in there. But the thing is, you can pick and choose, switch back and forth. I'm probably going to make a set of handles for one of these two, and it's probably going to be, I'm probably going to make one out of the, I'm probably going to make handles for the one that has the shredded, or the, the shredded carbon fiber versus the marble. And I think I have the material I want to do it with, but I don't know I have enough. I have a little bit of that green glow in the dark shit left over from Pip's knife. So I might do that. And I've also thought, how cool would it be if I sold somebody the pre-production prototype? I don't know how that works. I might have to look at my agreement with WE and stuff like that, but I've got two of them. I only need one. A pre-production Hornet. That might be something that happens. I don't know yet. I need the money. I don't need... I honestly, I want the Hornet. I made that knife based on a knife that I would want and have never gotten to own one because I had to sell everything I made. This one, I don't have to sell it. I got two of them. I'm gonna probably make handles for these. But the nice thing is I have a template for exactly how I want the handles to be. Just thicker. You know what I mean? So, it's been an hour. Just been hanging out. Anybody got anything they want to talk about before I fucking cut this off? Because I'm gonna go take a shower, start packing stuff up, and then I've got to get stuff ready for tomorrow. Because we are gonna be at a competition for 2 days. Luckily, this competition is close. It's only 30 minutes from the house, as opposed to having to drive all the way to fucking LA for a competition. I shot it. I'm still editing. I'm trying to get the pictures edited in clearly. There's a problem when I take stuff from my computer and put it on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to message them again to my sister and then pull them off of my phone. Because what I did before is I pulled them off my computer. I put the fucking whole video on there. I tried to edit it in. I tried using a different type of editing software. I do not like, I forget what the one I had was. Somebody sent a link to it for a free trial. I don't like it. It's clunky, it's hard to use, and it's expensive. iMovie is free and it's easy. It is cake. And I'm even able to add my own music as opposed to, like I said, adding, instead of having to try and go find something that works that's in either their copyright-free music menu or downloading something that's copyright-free and putting it in, which most of the music that's not copyrighted sucks. It really does. And so it's just a matter of that, like, getting it edited. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take everything, because the original footage is still on the phone. I saved it in a file just in case this didn't work. So the original footage is on the phone. I'm going to take that, add the pictures, and transition all that, and then I will get that. That's something I'm gonna do today. I have one guy that still hasn't paid me for stuff. As soon as I pack his stuff up and ship it, and that knife that you saw on the counter, the one that I did the aquamarine, the aquamarine and bronze on, I'm gonna pack that up, and if this guy has not sent me payment for what's left, I will just package that stuff off. So I'm gonna give him till 1, and then I'm gonna start throwing that stuff in the car and going to do shipping. What's my favorite? My favorite fighter co. My favorite fighter co. I always liked the Endura series. I got that from them a while back when they sent me back. I loaned them a bunch of knives. They got the prototype Hornet before it went to its new home, the owner. And I made them a couple of Viper neck knives, and Frankie made that for me, and I hung it up in the kitchen. It's been there since, well, let's see, what year? What's the year on that? 2018? 17. That's been up there since around Christmas, 2017. So, let's see. What were we talking about? Oh, Spyderco's, Endura. The Endura has always been my favorite. I don't like the Delica, it's too small. I don't like too many of the, I've had 3 Enduras in different configurations. Yeah, I have. I've had 3. So I had the all stainless that was half serrated that got lost. I bought an all stainless plain edge that I gave to a guy that just kept asking me for it and kept asking me for it. And when he retired from the Navy, I cleaned it up, I sharpened it, I polished the scales, and I put it in a box and I packaged it up for his retirement gift. Let's see, I had a full flat ground. Yeah, I had a full flat ground FRN handle one, and I think if I can come up with the money, I'm gonna buy a ZDP 189 Endura. I just haven't had the money. I would love to have another Endura. I don't own an Endura right now. The closest thing I've got is the Matriarch 2, which is a variant of the Endura. It's in the Endura family, but what the hell is this? Oh, there's my daughter's necklace that I made for her. Oh no, this is the wife's. My wife's pendant that I made for her out of Timascus. I sold a bunch of these. I think I should do that. I think I've got 2 or 3 pieces, little small pieces of. I think I've got 2 or 3 small pieces of Timascus left for pendants. Just little itty bitty pieces like that. I should do those again and sell them. Well, guys, hey, I have to get off of here. I actually do have a little bit of work to do this morning. It's, like I said, I'm glad I got all that stuff done yesterday because it's been hectic around here. Wife was sick. I was sick. It's just been, this last couple weeks, it's just been rough. I don't know if you guys heard me talking about it. My wife came home Tuesday, and she was fine when she came home from work, and then she went to go pick my daughter up and take her skating, and then apparently while they were at the ice rink, and my wife got violently ill. I wish she had called me. I would have come and picked them up and then figure out a way to get the car later. Violently ill, came home, was throwing up. Isabel and I went to Matt's. She was running a fever. Woke up Wednesday, still felt bad, but didn't feel as bad. Yesterday, she was fine. And then, but she was complaining about stomach cramping and stuff. And then I was like, yeah, my stomach hurts down low too. Next thing you know, we both have diarrhea. It's bad. It's been a bad couple days. I don't know what we got into. I don't know what we got. I didn't have the fever and stuff, but I definitely have the abdominal distress and the green apple splatters. What we call them? Brown water squishies. That's what we called it in the Navy. Nope. I've never even seen a picture of it. You know what I need to do? That guy that runs Gear Barrel, I need to get with him. We need to just talk about, like, there he is, Bronx Blades. What's up, Chris? When are you going to send me that fucking, your other touch for sharpening? I know you and Eric, I think you and Eric each got a second one, right? I haven't seen Eric in it. Has Eric been on these live feeds in a while? I haven't talked to him. Is he all right? No response. Nothing. Just all crickets. Well, I mean, I'm always here, and I got to pay my mortgage, so I'll tell you what. I'll give you a call when I get off of here, Chris. I'm just joking about that. I haven't either. I need to get a hold of him. I might call him again today. He texted me a while back, but haven't heard anything. Yeah, I've got to get this other stuff packed up, guys. Well, you know what I could do? Do you guys want to stick around? There's 13 of you. Usually we start seeing diminishing numbers at this point. If you guys want to stick around, I'll plug you in on the counter and start packing that stuff up. I've only got one that has to be packed up. Well, and then I've got all that stuff from Charles. Speaking of which, this needs to go on the counter for pack up to go to Charles. That's what we'll do. You know what? We'll do that. Hang on just a second. Let me make sure you're charging. All right, give me just a second. There we go. All right, you guys want to hang out? You guys are gonna have to come up with stuff to talk about. I'm out of shit. I don't do this because I like to hear myself talk. I do this because I like interacting with you guys. And we'll talk about the proper way to seal a package. So the way I do it is I hit these spots right here in the middle first. And then because I haven't done a label yet, what I'll do, hang on just a second. So I'm gonna write the owner's name right here. So I know what's in it because the note's right here with his address. So I hit those two spots, right, to hold it together. And then I'll put my item in. I'm gonna get a bunch of these. This is much better than using my wife's paper towels. The guys at the shop have them. I stole one to see. I like it because I can put the, so it's just like a polystyrene slip. So I can put the knife down inside. It's fully enclosed. It's all taken care of, nice and clean. I gotta put some business cards in here. Hang on just a second, let me grab some business cards. Stop licking. Stop licking hotspot. It's gonna get worse. Dummy. I need to put some Bittrex or something on there. So, knife. Business cards. That's not a good idea. That might scratch the ANO. It's polished. Well, I mean, it's gonna go in there. I'll just put those with it. So you can wrap them up, and they just are a perfect fit in these packages. I gotta grab some packing material. I'm not going anywhere, guys. The ultrafine ceramic are great if you're good at maintaining an angle. If they're not, you're gonna screw your stuff up because that stuff it slides all over the place. It doesn't have any bite. It cuts really well, it polishes really well, but there's no bite like on, so on my stones, there's a little bit of bite. There's a little bit of give. The stone actually has some give, and you can, it gives you some feedback so you know where you're at all the time. Even for me, having done this for a very long time, I have a hard time with the Spyderco Ultrafine Ceramic. The blade wants to slide around. The blade wants to slide around on that ceramic, and it makes it hard to maintain a good edge. One more piece that size. So if there's any question about how much, I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to cut some of the thicker plastics. It's not easy. Plastic, like the polystyrenes and things like that, when I do a test, I need a little bit more, small piece. Just because I don't want stuff to rattle. I don't want it, like when it rattles, people are like, oh, I wonder what that is. And they're like, oh, I bet it's worth something. And the next thing you know, my shit gets broken into and stolen. There we go, that's good. So then, I do use this to seal it, but then I'm not done. That's not it. I get packages from you guys like this all the time, and it scares the shit out of me. That packages come and they'll be busted at the corner. I'm like, oh, I hope everything's that's supposed to be in there is still in there. And that is you're running a risk there. But I definitely will tell you, I've had less problems with UPS. So then I take a bead, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I wish I had a GoPro mount for this. So then I take that, and I run a bead from here to here, and then here to here. So we'll do that. Maybe I can put you down like this. Maybe you can see better if I do it like this. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you can see what I'm doing. So that it overlaps and it comes down and it covers that seam. Then I run one this way to tie those down and hit that corner, right? I do the same thing on the bottom. And there's a reason, because there's a seam there too. So run it down. I go across here, right? So now I've got a piece of tape here, a piece of tape here. And the reason for it is because I'm then going to go back and overlap across those pieces. So now I've got a piece going this way, and then I run a piece going this way down over it. Because now, no matter how hard you try, you can't say that that accidentally got fucking, oh, it got damaged. No, that got broke into. So pretty much all of the open seams have got some tape on them. This is why I use some packing tape. But the fact is, this guy paid me $100+ dollars. It was closer to $170 to do all that ano, sharpening notch before the sharpening, and then cleaning it up so it looked like it was done from the factory. And I'm not just going to put it in there and just hope that it makes it to its final destination. I feel a responsibility to make sure your stuff arrives properly. So, taped. The only spot that's not taped is down here because there's not really a seam. So, like if it's a heavier knife, it's a heavier, like say there's more stuff in it, sometimes I will run a strip across and across. We'll go ahead and do it, just so I can kind of show what I'm talking about. And then the only part that's would be open. So now every one of these edges where it might rip, the only place that it could really break is here, and I've never seen one break on these flats. And one of them is going to have this, which does have some plastic backing on it. So now I'm not gonna lie, that Smatch-It, that box that the Smatch-It is in, it's pretty much fully taped because, you know, a guy paid me $800 for that knife. I'm definitely want to make sure that that heavy thing doesn't bust out of its box. So, and then I'll get Charles's stuff set up here a little bit later. Because like I said, his stuff, I already know what's going in the box and stuff like that. The box is already ready. It just needs, the boxes need sealed, taped, and the address put on them. So, Josh. Hey, if I can find a set of headphones that has a microphone that works properly, would you guys like to see another video game live feed? I might do that this weekend because I'm not going to the competition with my daughter. I'm meeting them there. Me and the dog will be going and meeting them there. Reason being is my wife, daughter, and the dog will be in... my wife, daughter, and the coach will be riding together. That way my coach doesn't have to drive and we don't have to fight for parking. It just makes it easier. Southeast. Salem. I've never sent anything to Salem, Oregon. So somebody asked what game? I don't know. I've got a bunch of games. I've got yeah, you Gorilla Glue seams, and it's hard on knives when I fucking open a package you send. I didn't realize you did that until the first time I got one. And tape's cheaper than Gorilla Glue. And I fucking cut into it. I was like, oh, Jesus, what the fuck is that? Done. So that's why I charge a handling, because it doesn't, even if I'm not talking to you guys, it doesn't make it any faster. Everybody's like, oh, you should just print the labels. Well, here's the deal. You wind up paying, I think you pay a monthly, if I remember correctly, for one of the stamps.com or some shit like that, I forget. And then you have click and ship, which I'm not sure how that works, but I need to buy a laser printer to do it. And I just don't have $100 right now free to buy a laser printer. It would make it easier if I had click and ship and then I could just put it in box. But the flip side of it is I'd still wind up driving to the post office, guys. I really would. The only thing it would do, it would save me the maybe minute or two that it takes me to write a label. Because the thing is, I don't trust leaving them. I don't trust leaving your items somewhere where the postman will pick them up, because the postman is not going to come knock on my door. Anything to pick up today? No. If I had a business, yes, they do that. The guys at Farm Forge, they have a basket set up inside their shop. The only place I have it where he could pick it up is in my garage, and I don't trust that. So the whole thing, I do appreciate you guys saying that, yeah, it would save you so much time and you could set up pickups and things like that. Well, flip side of that is when they come to do pickup, I'm usually not home. So I'd have to leave them. My wife and kid are usually not home. So it's actually, I feel more secure taking your stuff physically to the post office. So really, I'm gonna drop off anyway. Even if I was driving to the nearest drop box, which is at the post office, I'm still going there. Why not just go and make sure that everything's labeled properly, that the proper stickers are on it. It's not just sitting in a box. It's not gonna get fucking dropped when they pull it out of the box. It seems silly, but it absolutely makes more sense to me. The only reason I would do it is if I had stamps.com, I would be able to track it, because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, there's another thing that I'm not going to do anymore. If you are sending me stuff, get informed delivery, because if it's coming from San Diego, there's a 90% chance it's me. Let's see, where's my last shipping? These are shipping receipts for the year. I don't know which one is which, and I don't have the time to figure it out. So guys, I apologize. If you ask me for a tracking number, I'm gonna tell you get informed delivery. I apologize, it sounds rude. It might sound crash and brazen and kind of like, I got your dick. I don't have that time. I mean, I do have the time, but the fact is I'm gonna have to interact with you. Okay, what was your address? Well, it's this. And then I gotta pull the receipt back out and I gotta find that date 2 days ago and things like that. It's not gonna happen. Because that means that then I gotta take a picture of it or write it down, and I'm just trust that I'm sending your stuff, and then use informed delivery to find out if it's on its way or not. This reminds me, I need to put a clip on that. I never ask anybody for a tracking number. I just ask they ship it, and then I check informed delivery. I check informed delivery every day. I have currently 2 packages pending, 1 out for delivery, and 1 that we're not sure what happened to it, but that's okay because it was my Amazon delivery. And Amazon, I already called them and they're like, yeah, we'll just send you a new one. I was like, it was supposed to be here 3 days ago. It's been out for delivery for 3 days. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, it said it was delivered. And it's not on, this is on Amazon's website. It says delivered. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't delivered. I got 2 packages from you guys. We ordered a bunch of stuff. Some of it didn't fit. We ordered 5 things that came in 3 different packages because they were coming from different distribution centers. And I'm like, dude, this one, the one that was supposed to be delivered on Tuesday, it said it was delivered. And then like 2 hours later, it says it's back out for delivery. And I was like, what's going on? And then I've had it happen enough times. I'm like, yeah, it's lost. Or somebody decided they wanted it more than I did. And so I got a hold of Amazon and I did they said, contact the seller for third-party stuff, but then there was a link. And so I sent them the thing and they're like, yeah, we'll just reissue you the item. So, all right, guys, that's it. I do have to go take a shower. I have enjoyed this. This has been fun. I like these longer ones, especially when you guys are interacting. The live feeds where I just sit and talk to myself aren't near as much fun as like this one where you guys are actively participating and stuff like that. Adults need to adult. Sorry, I didn't see that, Justin. You're absolutely right. Adults need to adult. I got news for you. Sometimes adulting's hard because I don't know if you guys know this. There's a chance I'm not wearing pants when we're doing this. Because fuck, I mean, why? Yeah, you guys have a great weekend. Like I said, expect a video of the daughters ice skating to go up probably Sunday and Monday, the day after the events. Expect to see that S90 or S30V chipping thing. And that's going to be a 2-part thing. I sharpened that knife and I'm keeping track of what I'm doing with it. I'm not going to do anything hard use. I'm going to keep it in my head. Only do small cutting tasks. You know, nothing hard. I'm not going to whittling any wood. I'm not going to be popping zip ties and things like that. I'm thinking I just want to do some light cutting and just see how that edge holds with just general light use. And then we'll hit that, and then I'll take like a couple weeks and then I'll use it for everything. I'll just cut stuff with it and see what it does. I just want to see if it does any chipping with light use. And then if it doesn't, I'll take it back. I'll take it back to 1000 grit. I'll strop it, and then it will start over with hard use. So expect a couple videos about that. And then, shit. You know what I didn't do? And I have to take this back to Matt today. I might shoot a video at Matt's house tonight. We might do a live feed about this tonight. I still need to do Matt's Fortis 2.0. God, this thing's gorgeous. We might do, I'm going to do an etch like that on one of my knives. I just haven't figured out which one. So we will see what happens. Like I said, I'm going to Matt's to help him set up a workbench and things like that, and build a bench and some shit. So I don't know how much we're going to get done, but you know, he does a lot of shit for me. And like I said, I'm not driving to the shop to sit up there by myself with nothing. The etch procedure is going to take hours, like literally takes hours. 20 CV is very resistant to corrosion and caustic chemicals. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'm going to go take a shower and send a couple emails and then run to the post office. Like I said, I'm going to give this guy another 2 hours or so to get back in touch with me. I do understand people are busy, like True. I know you guys see True come on here. True wound up in Mexico for like a week or something. I couldn't get a hold of him. I get it. It happens. I'm not going to ship something if I haven't gotten paid. So just all there is to it. So guys, take it easy. Go to Mastrop, see if they're selling these yet. Because if you don't have one, this is a really good knife. I almost wish though that it was ambidextrous, because I would love to have the pocket clip. This would be a good left-hand carry knife. This would be something I would like, because I have a few knives that are left-hand carry. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm just going to keep on rambling if we don't stop. Let's see, somebody said something.